Hello everyone, xHedra here bringing you episode 47 of Forever Stranded, a mud pack by Gaming with Sheridan. So in the last episode, we set up our launch pad and also our rocket on the launch pad. We assembled it, we then put fueling down and we fueled it. Let me grab that right now. And then we crafted our spacesuit that you can see right here. And I told you about everything that we needed to get ready to go to space. And I told you that the next episode would be a time-lapse episode where we would expand the base for the aquatic farm, tree farm, and take care of the dirt quest because that's something that was holding us back. But I really want to go to the moon. So I thought that I would introduce this episode by quickly going to the moon with you guys. And when I came back, we would do the missions that we need. I would do the time-lapse and put everything in order. So let me do a little bit of inventory cleanup. I'm going to need this here. So I need a basic capacitor. Oh, it's not JEI synchronized. So I need a basic capacitor to bring to the moon to be able to power up the fueling station. Because if I can't power it up, then I won't be able to put fuel in my rocket. So let me craft that right now, and I'm going to go connect it so that it recharges. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to put my diamond jetpack there just so that it gets to recharge quickly. And I'm going to put this right on top here, and it's going to start recharging super fast. And while we're waiting for that, we'll just make sure that we have everything ready. So basic capacitor is going to be here, fueling station here, cable to connect the two, liquid pipe to get some fuel, the lever to pump the fuel in, the linker to link the rocket to the fueler, our whole spacesuit. So we're pretty good on that. I'm just going to also quickly, I don't want this in my inventory anymore. I'm going to get rid of a couple of the things that I don't need in my inventory. And we're going to go check our fuel situation because we need to make sure that we have enough fuel to actually go to the moon and come back. I'm pretty sure we do. But again, I have to make sure because I don't want to risk not being able to come back. That would be a really big episode derp. So, and I don't even know how I would recover from that other than using a backup. Because once you're on the moon, if you have no way back, then technically you're screwed. There's no way back. So I have, okay, 4,000 is what we need to fuel the rocket. So that's going to be enough. And I'm going to put the iron drum here to continue filling it with more fuel. And I'm going to put this right here, and now I'm going to go get my basic capacitor, and we should be ready to lift off. So 1 million RF, which should be plenty enough to set up the fueling station. So let's take this. I'm going to need the hammer. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to keep my weapon here and my magical bow. No, it's not magical yet. It's called the magical boomerang, but it's obviously not magical. So we have everything that we need. Let's go to space. And before we don't have everything we need. We don't have the jetpack. And before we go to space, there's an important things for you to know. Don't forget to put the spacesuit on. On my other playthrough, the first time I did that, I had forgotten and I took some damage before I was able to finally put it on. So let's go like this and put it on right now. I'm also going to just eat something so that I don't leave there starving. Once I'm on the moon, I want to just take care of the moon stuff and come back and not have to think about the food and everything else. So let's get into the rocket, and it's set to destination Luna. Let me change perspective so that you can see this, and we're going for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. And there's no sound whatsoever. And I don't know if it's just like my jetpack where the sound is broken, or if it's actually that there is no sound for this in advanced rocketry. If any one of you has launched a rocket, I would love to know if you have sound or no sound. So basically this is taking us to orbit, and then once we get to orbit, you can see on the left the altitude. Once it reaches orbit, it's going to reload to change dimension, just like going to the nether, and put us in the moon dimension. And then it's going to tell us that we're going to land in minus 27. And look at the altitude, minus 43 was the last altitude modifier. And so now we're just going to press space to descend because I don't want to waste time. And descending is much faster than moving upward. So we're going to land on the moon. And if you see, I still have a little bit of fuel, but I wouldn't have enough to come back. Maybe if I'd put more tank on it, but I don't know if the more tank you have, the more fuel you use. So I prefer just refueling it. So once we get down on the ground, I'm going to need all these, and I'm going to reset it up quickly to refuel everything so that I'm ready to leave at a moment's notice. And then we're going to get to digging. So the reason I wanted to show you the moon, and let me change perspective again, is that if it wasn't for this mod pack being a sieving mod pack, you would actually need to, absolutely need to go to the moon to get your dilithium. In the last episode, I showed you that we didn't really need the dilithium, but it's just fun, and it was a good way of saying I'm doing a time lapse, but at least the starting point is exciting. And I also have a potential planning idea. I'm thinking that, as you're going to see, there's a lot of resource in here. So I'm thinking that I might, let's not launch by mistake. So I'm thinking, shift right click, that I might mine the moon for resource. And if you look at the rocket, don't hit disassemble. But now, to make sure that I don't forget, I'm going to select the destination and set back the destination to Earth. Don't by mistake set it to come back to Luna, or else you would just launch and land right back down and you would be out of fuel. Which is why I have experience doing this, because I did it in my other playthrough, so I permitted myself to be a bit more risky. But when I did that in my last playthrough, I didn't leave Earth until I had a lot of fuel. So I'm just going to dig straight down to Bedrock so that we try and get some resource. If it's been in all my other playthrough, everywhere you dig you end up getting some dilithium. It's pretty common. And if we don't find it, we'll just move one step to the left or the right and we should find some doing that. So this moon turf is really hard to break, but once it's broken, then you have cobblestone. So that's why I was saying there's a lot of cobblestone here that we could mine. Not that we really need it, but see, we have some copper now. We've already reached the copper layer, and I can't put any torch down because if I put a torch down, it gets extinguished immediately. Oh. And you can't break it with a torch. So you need glowstone torch, but they're disabled in this pack. Last time I checked. If I check again, let me look at glowstone torch. And see, I can't click on it. They can't be created. So I would have had to create some glowstone block and cut them in pieces and put them down. And I don't even know if these work. But we're not going to be here long enough for it to matter. And we're just going to dig like this and hopefully find some dilithium pretty soon. And it's interesting because you get limestone, marble, every kind of resource. See, we have some quartz here. I'm just going to grab whatever different resource I find and see some marble right there. And let's continue going down. And this is, what is this? Copper ore. We already found some up. Anything else? No. Let's continue digging down. We're at Y39, so we still have a way to go. So, oh, see, coal ore. Told you we could find anything in here, and I'm just going to grab that. Oh, and what's behind here? See, some tin ore. So let me grab the tin ore, and let's continue on down. What I really want is the dilithium, and I'm just looking around to make sure that I didn't pass any in my back, because I'm looking at front, left, and right, but what if it's in my back? I wouldn't see it. And what was this? Lead ore. So let's grab a little bit of lead ore also, and let's continue down. Some more coal, some way more coal. Oh, and we have dilithium ore. So let me just mine this and the dilithium ore. So the dilithium ore is like this, and once I've got some, I'm just going to show you how it works. Oh, and jumping on the moon? No gravity. So of course the jump are amazing. When we want to leave here, it's going to make it easier to escape this hole. So let's look at the dilithium ore, and if I do R on it, R. So I can't search it like this. I don't know why. So let's do dilithium. So dilithium gets broken into dilithium dust. And the small plate presser gives 2. The crusher gives 2. And there's a couple of ways, but we already get that through sieving. If you look at how to get this, you'll see here from sieving, we got it from sieving sand. And we already have enough to be able to do what we want, so it's not like we need it. Like I said, we were going to go to Bedrock, and we're almost to Bedrock, so let's just continue down quickly, just in case we see some gold or diamond. I'm pretty sure every type of resource can be gotten from the moon. And still nothing. Oh, and we have some dirt and some more tin ore, and we're at Bedrock. So now it's time to get out of this hole, but I don't want to use my jetpack, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get some cobble, jump. Oh, and just put down cobblestone as we're jumping so that we're going to get out of the hole. I could have installed the jetpack on my spacesuit, but honestly, we're going to go. We went once to the moon. Next time we're going to go to a planet, and on the planet that we're going to go to, we're not going to need any spacesuit. So the moment we get there, we'll just basically take it off and put our standard armor. And we're done with this place. Let me just get back to the rocket, and I'm so scared about not going to the right place that I'm going to shift right click, select destination, and select Earth again. I'm going to get in, and it says destination Earth, so let's take off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff, and we're going back to Earth. So once we get back to Earth, I'll say our standard goodbyes, and basically I'm going to get into my time lapse, and I'm going to complete closing the base. I'm going to complete setting up the farming station for the sapling, and I'm going to start working on Dirt Farm 2.0 if I have time. And I'm going to get everything in place and start doing my research so that when we come back, we're going to set a Woot farm, probably level 1, just to be able to start some cows, because Jimmy Ashby has reported that with cows he's getting a ton of leather and beef is 5 to 1 dirt. So it's really worth doing. So let's auto descend right now, not disembark from the shuttle. I don't know what would happen if we disembark from the shuttle. So I'm not going to risk it because I've been doing so good and this playthrough is moving along super well. Once we get closer like this, I'm immediately going to switch to my jetpack, because I don't know if I'm going to land at night or during the day, and if you land at night, there are going to be mobs. So I'm going down, 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 and you can hear the mob. So I'm going to disembark right now, and I'm going to use a jetpack to go away and let my shuttle land, so that I don't get attacked by any of the mob. So that's a neat trick if you land at night on how to make sure that you don't land on mobs, because in my other playthrough I didn't really think about that, and I happened to land during night, and there were some I don't remember what they're called, not the standard skeleton, the other one that are really scary, the one that have like a cowl around them. If I can find one, I wanted to show you. And these, they hit you with arrow and they blind you. So I got blinded the moment I landed, and I got hit by 1 or 2 more arrow by the time I got my jetpack on, and I was able to escape. So guys, that's all I wanted to say about this. We adventured to the moon, which was great, and now we're going to get into the time lapse. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.